Hey everybody, Ben here from DMC Films and Cinder Studios, and welcome to Message to My Subscribers number 7, another year-end recap and a look back at all of the really great things that happened this year. So while in other years I've always started this out by saying, wow, this has been a really great year, I'm saying that again, but between the channel and my art here in Pittsburgh, holy shit. But before I get too ahead of myself, I just want to start out by thanking each and every one of you for taking the time to watch one of my videos and subscribe to my channel. Whether you've been here since the early days when I first started this channel in 2008, or more recently 2012 when I officially made this an art channel, started really kind of putting out painting tutorials and things on a regular basis. This channel has continued to grow more and more every year, and I'm so thankful to each and every one of you for giving me the time in the subscription and coming back again and again to watch more and more of my content. At the time of recording this video, I'm sitting just under 3,000 subscribers, which is really cool because I think I was at like 1,500 or something this time last year. It was one of those things that it's like every year it's just like what you did last year and then some. And it's really incredible to know that all of you find value in my work and in the stuff that I'm putting out for all of you. So let's talk a little bit about why this was a great year for the channel. My sort of series of what I call painting process videos, I had 10 big releases for those. As I mentioned before, there's been over 1,000 new subscribers to this channel that I've sort of welcomed into this community, and for all of you that have joined in this year, welcome. It's great to have you here as part of the YouTube art community and as part of the Cinder Studios community as well. I did a really good interview this year. I would have liked to do a couple of more, but there were a lot of time constraints with trying to set up things with other artists, and you know, if you're an artist yourself, you understand how that can be. But I went up to Cleveland. I interviewed Albert Beltz, an old friend of mine. He's a silversmith, and he does carpentry and everything like that. It's a great interview. If you haven't seen it yet, go ahead and check that out. Probably of the three that I've done between Jim Gentner, Sykra, and now Albert, it's probably my favorite because you could tell that we really resonated on a similar frequency, so to speak. A lot of the same concepts of creation and technique we really share in that, and I think it's a really fun video to watch, and a lot of laughs in that too. I released a book. I mean, that's still mind-boggling to me that I was able to even get that done. I wasn't necessarily on time, but it was a huge undertaking in terms of a project, and to work on something pretty much for an entire year, compile this huge thing, have it edited for like grammar and content, and then just being like, here you go, it's free. I think I surprised a lot of you doing that, but at this time I still don't know how much impact it has had. If you've been using the book, please let me know how you're doing with it. I'm kind of giving it about a 6-month period to where after people have sort of gone through the book can and hopefully will send me a message saying, wow, this really helped me, or you could improve a little bit on this stuff. I'm not really sure how well it's done. All I know is it's been downloaded a bunch, and that's about it. So I don't have a good way of tracking that yet. But I'm really excited to hear from all of you on what you thought about the book and how well it's impacted and how much it's impacted all of your work. So outside of the channel, in my own realm of Pittsburgh, this has been a major growth year in terms of just general getting my work out there, hitting shows, meeting people. I was in 10 different shows or events this year alone, which I think is more than all the previous years combined, like 3 years back. Prior to that, then you're tacking above that, but I was doing maybe like 2-3 shows or something a year, and then this year I just had like 10 of them. It was like every month and a half, it was like boom, 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 boom. And I'm like, whoa, this is a lot of stuff. Because of a lot of those shows, I was in my local newspapers twice, two different papers. The first one was a feature of, I think, 5 or 6 different artists from a group show, and I had a piece in there that was really good. And then there was a feature about a sort of street show that I did, and it was before that show even happened. It was like I was one of 2 people that was featured in the paper as well. So that was really fun and exciting. And links to those you can find on my website on the shows and sales things, and there's press. You can find them there and read the articles, which is neat. One thing that I started doing this year as well is I started making and selling prints. Now I've always kind of had this negative view towards prints, and it was actually Jim Gantner, the artist I interviewed last year, that kind of gave me this perspective of the more prints you have, the more valuable the original piece is. I always thought it was like, well, you're devaluing the original piece because there's all these copies. It's like, no, it gives more value to, because some people will say, look, I have a print, and then one person will be like, but I have the original. And I was like, oh, okay. That's a much better way to look at that. So I got some prints made. I've got a relationship with a local print shop that I'm able to get some batches of stuff every now and then. And plus, you know, there's stuff you can do. You can buy stuff online through Zazzle. I created an open shop there, and so anyone, I guess in the U.S., I don't know if they ship internationally or not, but everything's ordered and processed through them, and I don't have to worry about the logistics at all. So if you've ever been curious about a print for one of my paintings, you can actually find them online. Actually, I think I'm due to upload some new stuff to there. It's been a while since I've put the newer pieces there, but it's been really great to be able to expand to that market, and it's also helped boost sales a little bit as well. The final big thing with my work in Pittsburgh this year is I got into, or rather basically invited into, a small artist collective called the Red Fishbowl. You can check out the website redfishbowl.com. It's me and I think 12 other artists, or 8 or something. We're a small group, but it's kind of cool to be recognized within that group, and basically have that opportunity to say, hey, we got shows coming up, we got this, and I'm basically invited and automatically in a lot of these shows because of the collective. And so it's been huge, and so much of that has come from just little group shows, meeting artists and promoters, and I've really gotten to know some great promoters here in the city that have taken an interest in my work and really want to invite me to places, which is nuts. So while I can sit and talk about all the stuff that I've done well this year, there's a handful of things that I haven't done well this year. Things that I fell short on, shows that fell through, and while I think it's good to talk about doing well and having all these big successes, I definitely want to address a couple of things that are important but weren't either good steps to take or could have been worse steps to take if I actually did them. So there was a couple, 1, maybe 2 of these shows that I actually had to turn down. Getting interest from the promoters and everything like that is good, but it's also to know where you want to take your art. Now, in particularly the Pittsburgh area, I've noticed 2 major types of art venues. There are urban art venues, and there are sort of gallery art venues. The gallery art venues are what you sort of expect them to be. They're a little higher class. You're having maybe a gallery opening, and then a closing, beginning and end of a show. The show can last anywhere from a week to a couple of months. And usually, it's just people looking, and that's great. People look a lot, but you don't really get sales out of those places. And if you want to actually work and sell your art, you have to sort of move into what I call the urban art venues. So you're hitting coffee shops and big group shows and places I've been doing some live painting things this year, which have been really fun. So that way, and it also tailors to a younger crowd. not real young, but 20s and 30s, people that are willing to spend money on art, but not a lot of money on art. So you're gonna sell smaller pieces and prints, and you will sell them. It's not about, oh, I don't know. It's like, no, they're gonna move, but part of that is finding the right venue and finding, that's like the market that you have to find, and there's also sort of this subdivision of the urban art community that's like really urban art community. It's this concept of a party environment and there's art. And this is one of the shows that I ended up turning down. The way it worked is, without, damaging anybody's reputation in the process, is there was sort of this nightclubby party kind of event. It's like, hey, we're having this crazy event and there's gonna be art. And they advertise it as an art show, but it seemed like art at that venue was a gimmick. It was like, people are coming in for this other thing, oh, and they can buy art while they're here. It's like, is that really the kind of event that I want to be a part of? And thinking about it, I said no. I think that's a little too lowbrow for me. I want to try and walk a middle ground between the gallery art and the urban art without taking it to either extreme, because I think if I do that, I'd really be alienating a large group of people that I shouldn't be. So that was sort of a way to assess what I was doing and say, it's okay to turn down shows. I don't have to take every opportunity that comes my way, and it's important to really know what your goals are artistically. Now, another show which I participated in, but it's questionable how much I got out of it, and it's this concept of the pay-to-play principle. And in one of my live shows on breaking into the fine art market, I referenced this a little bit. And it's this idea of, pay us a bunch of money and we'll give you exposure for your art. And so I did one of these events, and while I met a lot of great contacts, I think a good many of them are why I've had good success this year, I didn't make any sales, and the show ended up coming out as a major financial loss. And I think that's something you really should be wary of, is that if you're going to pay, you either have to know you can make up the sales difference, and I wasn't selling prints at that time. I just recently got my little credit card swiper for my Surface Pro, so I didn't have the ability to really accept money at that event. If I do that again, I could probably sell. But going in with limited resources, with limited knowledge, was not a good move for me. And I think that's one of those things that's like, you have to really kind of look at as many angles as you can before you go, take the chance on a show like that. And yeah, you're going to have good shows and bad shows. And this was sort of another one that was definitely more party environment versus focusing on the art. And it was advertised as a big art event, but there were bands playing. It was a big sort of concert hall, and I was in the back of this concert hall, and there was a band playing, and I was trying to converse with somebody about my art, and I couldn't hear them, and I couldn't hear myself talk, and all I could hear was the band. Everything was super loud. I'm like, this is not a good environment. I cannot promote my art if the people can't hear me promoting it. So it is something to keep in mind when you're looking at shows and looking at places to really try to showcase your work. It's like, is this going to be a good environment for my work? And sometimes it's like, no, it's not. So between my successes and failures, and thanks to all of you for watching and everything, you think, okay, what comes next? That's always a question to ask, especially when something on a YouTube channel, anything that's perpetual, anything that just keeps going and going and going. Like, there's no final goal to the channel. It's, a continuing education and everything like that. So what is next for the channel, for my art? Even I got some personal stuff I want to talk about today. So in the short term, in the next handful of weeks here, we have the stuff that didn't make it 2015. Now this is a sort of video series I've been doing every year. Previous years, they've just sort of been little short snippets, like it's been like a 1.5 to 2 minute video. It just kind of gives you the title of the video. I think I've got like 6 or 7 videos that actually didn't make the final cut this year, which is more than usual. And I actually want to break it down a little bit more, so it'll probably be about a 15 to 20 minute video of me just really kind of talking about the projects and what went wrong with them, why they didn't make it to the channel. I know there's like a handful of tutorials. There's a film that I wanted to get done and didn't, and there's a good reason why it didn't get done, unlike just laziness, like a lot of projects are. But yeah, so the stuff that didn't make it 2015 video is coming out. We also have the 2015 blooper reel. Now this one is, again, also different than previous years, because previous years I did part 1 and part 2. So part 1 was always like in June and July, first half of the year, part 2, second half of the year into December. I'm only doing 1 video this year, and I'm trying to keep it to sort of the best outtakes. So the real crazy screw-ups, not just every time I screw up a line and do it again within the course of a couple minutes. Those aren't as funny, so I'm really trying to work my way through everything like that. So the blooper video, as well as the upcoming stuff for 2016 video, will be on a Wednesday schedule instead of a Friday schedule. The way the holidays work this year is Christmas is on a Friday and New Year's Day is on a Friday. So I'm not doing Friday videos then, and I'll just be doing Wednesday videos, just so I don't have to kind of logistically make it a nightmare with holidays. And, you know, you can spend time with your families then as well. Some additional goals are, over on the second channel, I'm going to start doing monthly, what I've been calling study sessions. I've had 2 of them so far. I've just kind of been doing little studies of like creatures and mechs, and I want to do those more often. I want to really kind of push my work a little bit further. I've been kind of sitting on what I've got so far, but I need 2016 to be a year that I really kind of focus on both the technical aspects of my work, some stuff with subject matter. I need to kind of go back to my fundamentals again, and really kind of go back through another learning phase to kind of push my work a little bit further in that sense. Also, I'm going to be starting and have sort of already started monthly streams on Twitch TV / Cinderblock Studios. A couple months back, the gaming site Twitch opened up their basically platform to creative people, so you can go on and do paintings and drawings and anything of you basically creating art. So I did a test stream at the end of November. I did a sort of the first official stream at the beginning of this month, December, and the stream for that I've actually uploaded over here to YouTube as well. It's a little choppy video-wise because I haven't gotten my settings nailed down yet. But next month, it'll be Saturday the 2nd of January. There should be a stream over there on Twitch as well. It'll be 7:30 p.m. EST, just like it is over here on YouTube for my regular streams. But I think it's a good way to expand the audience, get my art to a different community, kind of tackle in, and really kind of have some fun on a different platform. Now, this doesn't mean that I'm going to be spending any less attention on YouTube and the Google Plus Hangouts. Still going to be doing that. It's just sort of an extra thing for me to incorporate into everything as well. So that should be fun. So that's the short term. So what about the long term? What are my plans, big plans for 2016 and beyond? To start, like I mentioned earlier, we're sitting just under 3,000 subscribers. I'm going to make a goal for 2016 is I want us to get to 5,000. Now that is basically doubling what I did this year. And I think we can do it. I think it's possible. I think it's going to be a lot about you guys sharing the channel out and talking about it, and promotion from you guys I think would be great. I have some really good plans for artist interviews this year. I don't want to give anything away, but it will involve me trying to contact other YouTube artists that I either don't really have contact with, or it's sort of like the 6 degrees of separation thing. So it's going to be like, hey, do you want to do this? You know, because honestly, you never know until you ask. There's a project that I wanted to launch in November of this year that got pushed back, and that's the DMC Films Creative Collective. Now this is going to be a series of free effects and practical effects tutorials and little things that I learned from doing my short films, and things that never made it into my short films that I've been wanting to share. Now I actually recorded 2 tutorials for that already. The first one I have to reshoot, which is one of the things that I'll be talking about in my stuff that didn't make it this year video. The second one actually should be ready to go. I don't know exactly when I want to launch that yet, but for the time being, it's basically, it's there. There's going to be some really great stuff with that. I'm going to be putting out a new Creative Commons music pack. I want to put out a sound effects pack. And then there's going to be some pre-keyed VFX that I'm gonna put out as well. So that should be a really fun bunch of stuff. Basically, it's focusing a little bit more back on DMC films because I say it all the time on the channel, but I don't really focus on it very much. So I want to expand the creative thing, not away from painting, but in addition to painting, I want to show you some other really cool stuff that I do as well. And the final upcoming thing, this is still really in the planning phase, and I was hesitant to even announce this this early on. But with the, I would say, successful launch of the How to Draw ebook, I had started to consider doing a second book. Now, this one isn't going to be a tutorial book. This would be a showcase of my sketches. I have a lot of comments and things coming through about people saying, I love your sketches. I love seeing your ink work in your sketchbook. It is so much fun to either see you work or see like the in progress from sketch to final painting. And I feel like I wanted to create a bigger project that I can put out that'll do that. And basically some kind of way to get my sketchbook out there to the people who really want to see it. I don't know what this project is really going to entail yet. I'm considering doing maybe a self-published thing. I'm considering just doing a digital copy. I'm considering doing a Kickstarter to launch an actual book, an actual physical copy that you could pre-order and I could ship them out and you could have a hardcover physical copy. I don't know yet. Again, this is very blueprint era stuff for this, but it is something I'm considering, and it's something I want to do eventually. I don't know if it'll happen this in 2016, but definitely the hard foundation for it is going to happen this year. I feel like it's probably on a 3 to 5 year plan in total, but it's one of those things where it's like I'm gonna start laying the groundwork for. And if any of you have any suggestions on how I could do this, let me know, because I'm really flying blind into this one. So a few final goals that I want to bring up just because they're exciting. Now, doing all my Pittsburgh's art stuff, I'm already booked basically for 2 shows in 2016, which is really exciting. Just to be like, I've already got stuff going on, and it's on my website. You can check it out. Dates are still kind of tentative right now, but I am really happy with, again, the continued success from this year, and it's basically leading right into next year, so it's pretty much a streamlined process at this point. The second big thing is that, whether or not I like to admit it online very often, I live with my parents. I don't say it publicly very often because I like to make it more ambiguous. I think it's better that way, but it's worth addressing right now. Okay, backstory. After college, I kind of came back and been living at home ever since. It's been 5 years since then, which is a long time. The Cinder studios here that I've created is the basement. My workstation is my bedroom, which is fair, and it's not it's not terrible. The other big thing is I work a day job. You might think, oh, this guy's thing is a full-time. No, I'm not a full-time YouTuber. I'm a part-time YouTuber, and I'm a part-time visual artist. I've always worked another job. And just recently, it was about a month ago, I picked up I'm working a full-time job now. I'm exceedingly busy, which is making it a little harder to get these videos out, but I'm still doing it. I'm still getting out 1 or 2 a week, every week, and I will continue to do so. In addition to that, though, because of the recent acquisition of this job, it's now financially allowed me to plan to buy a house, which likely won't be until this time next year. but it is one of those things where I can move out now. I'm to the point where I'm saving money, and I'll be able to buy a place that is not only my own, but it's a place that I can build both the brand and the channel of Cinderblock Studios much, much further. So I'll be able to basically create like a green screen stage, and I can get, you know, a larger area to work in, and I can have the entire room, and I can really tackle projects that I've wanted to do but couldn't do because of the shared space. So I think it's going to be really fun. It should also open up the ability to do more short films again, because a lot of times it's working around other people's schedules that I can't get them done. So I think eventually, when I do get to pick up my stuff and leave, it's going to be super important to establish the channel in my new space, and I'm very excited to be able to do that in the near future. So that should be, it's very exciting. I just wanted to get it off my chest, talk about it a little bit. I don't really go super personal very often on the channel here, but it's one of those things where it's like, I gotta talk about this because it's a big change for me, and it's gonna be a big change for the channel whenever it happens to come up. Plus, there's a lot of other things, again, I can't talk about yet, but whenever I do get out of the house, there's so many other really cool creative stuff that I'm going to be bringing to the channel, but again, because of either space requirements or time requirements, I cannot do it now. So there's stuff to look forward to 2016 and beyond, so I hope you stick around for that, and if you're not already subscribed, be subscribed to this channel, because it's going to be some really great stuff. So, as always, this has been from DMC Films and Cinderblock Studios. Stick around for another really awesome year here on the channel. Check out the Twitch page. Check me out on DeviantArt, Facebook fan page, Twitter. I don't plug this stuff enough, but it's always in the description box below. And see you guys next time.